This is the Horse Radio Network.
This is episode 390 of the Stable Scoop Radio Show. Guilt-free food, listener Lindsay, and chicken wormer. Please support our sponsors as they make the show possible.
Our sponsors this week are Bed in a Box, Uncle Jimmy's, Clary in Lexington, and Road to the Horse. This week, Glenn and Helena talk equestrian fitness with Rachel Pellison. Plus, the listener of the week is Lindsay Roush from Indiana, and Tack and Habit goes to the chickens. Listen in.
Welcome to the Stable Scoop, with weekly shows delivered right to you. With Helena and Glenn the Geek, live from the stable, it's every week. They bring you the news through hail or high water, while using their tails as their own fly swatters. So sit on down and laugh till you poop, cause it's time again for the Stable Scoop. Stable Scoop. The Stable Scoop. Stable Scoop.
This is Glenn the Geek.
And this is Helena B. And you're listening to the Stable Scoop Radio Show on the Horse Radio Network. Thank you for joining us today.
And as you can hear, Helena's having, or we're having, it's all of us are having a little bit of sound issues today, and we cannot seem to overcome them. So we're going to do the best we can. We're going to get a show in, but we might be a little garbled at points. But the content is so interesting, just ignore it. We're so good, you just ignore it, because just ignore it, all right?
I'm gonna put my face so close to my Mickey Mouse mic.
No, that was even worse. Back up a little.
Oh, Glenn's always yelling at me, get closer to your mic, get closer to your mic.
I know. Yeah,
right.
I don't know what's going on today. We've tried rebooting routers. I think Skype is just an issue. And as you guys know, you've listened to us for a long time. We can't battle the Skype demons ourselves. They're just beyond us. That's Microsoft's job. So we're going to do the best we can to get through today. We have a fun show planned for you with a lot of good stuff coming up. I wanted to mention right off the top that Road to the Horse is coming up next month, a little over a month from now. And for the first time ever, the Horse Radio Network is, thanks to horselovers.com, the Horse Radio Network will be providing over 8 hours of live programming from Road to the Horse, including the only live coverage of the finals day on Sunday. If you want to listen to what's going on at the finals of Road to the Horse, you have to listen to Horse Radio Network or go on their social media page, but we're providing the only live play-by-play. I'm going to be joined by two-time Road to the Horse competitor, Mary Kitzmiller, who does once a month on our Horses in the Morning show as well, and we're going to do play-by-play of the top colt starting competition in the country. So keep an eye on the Horses in the Morning Facebook page for all the details as we get closer to Road to the Horse on March the 18th. You can visit horselovers.com for all your equestrian shopping needs, including their popular deal of the day at horselovers.com. I'm so excited about this. In past years, we've been there. We've been the official radio network for years, but we've never done the live coverage, and Tootie called and who runs it and said, I want you to do live play-by-play on Sunday, which they've never done before. So people that are at home can sort of follow along with Mary and I, and we'll be joined by celebrity guests all through the 4 hours on Sunday. So, and we're also doing shows on Friday and Saturday. So a total of 8 hours from there at the Kentucky Horse Park. So that'll be fun.
Wow, you're a busy guy.
Yeah, Mary's great.
It's a good thing you have a lot of energy, although I don't know how you do it without sugar, but
that's hard. Mary's great too. She's so much fun to work with, and she's competed with this twice. She started a ton of colts, so she really knows what she's talking about. So I will be fluff, she will be content, and we'll make a show. All that coming up. Well, we just want to get into it today. We have. Who wants to talk about the weather anymore? It just sucks. It's winter. So let's do this. Let's hear from Bed in a Box and then go right into Rachel Pellison with our feature of the month, our health and wellness segment.
Welcome to bedinabox.com, where you'll find the most comfortable, pressure-relieving memory foam mattress at only 1/3 the cost of the leading brands. We have created an exclusive memory foam that sleeps cooler, rebounds quicker, and cradles your body in pain-relieving comfort better than other types of memory foams. Introducing our new memory foam technology. By swirl infusing gel into our advanced memory foam, we have created an even cooler, more comfortable sleeping surface. Best of all, it's made right here in the USA.
He had been dealing with back pain and chiropractor visits for a while, so we decided it was probably time to find a new mattress.
So we started doing some research on memory foam mattresses and found bedindabox.com. We were on a trip with some friends, and they actually had a bed-in-a-box mattress in their camper. And on their recommendation, we decided to get one for ourselves.
They got it to us in no time. We had no problem adjusting, and we were thrilled with the comfort. In fact, my husband doesn't have to get up early anymore due to back pain. He can lie in bed for as long as he likes without any discomfort. We recommend Bed in a Box to anyone who has back problems or just needs a good night's rest.
We believe we have created the world's best memory foam mattress. Using independent, accredited labs, we have tested our mattresses against the industry leaders to ensure comfort and durability. Test results show our mattresses relieve pressure better than the more expensive ones found in retail stores. Buying a mattress over the internet may seem risky. That's why we offer a 120-day zero-risk return policy. You get a full 100% refund if you're not satisfied. No hidden fees and no return shipping charges, and we back them with a 20-year warranty. Sound too good to be true? Don't take our word for it. Read what real customers are writing about us on Facebook, Twitter, Viewpoints.com, and other third-party review sites. We are dedicated to quality and service. We offer fast, free shipping to the contiguous U.S. Your mattress will arrive conveniently packaged and will be ready to sleep on within minutes. With the benefits of the leading brand mattresses, but at 1/3 the cost, why wait? Start getting the best sleep of your life. Call, chat, or email one of our friendly customer care agents to learn why 99% of our customers sleep better and toss and turn less on their new Bed-in-a-Box mattress.
Welcome back, Rachel, to the Stable Scoop Radio Show. We're going to talk health and wellness today. What do you got for us?
So we're going to talk about good and bad foods today. And Glenn has already mentioned that he is incredibly excited about this topic.
I think Helena brings you on once a month just to torture me.
Yeah, it's good. It's good for you.
Yes.
You're in foods, man. You're in trouble.
Exercise and good food, and I'm sitting here on my chair all day being lazy and fat. Okay, go ahead.
You're going right into my territory, so this is good. Keep the comments rolling, Glenn.
You've never heard that before.
All right, so my question to get started is, what are some good foods? So I need your feedback here.
Chocolate, cake, ice cream.
Good foods.
Oh, you mean good for you or just good?
Good for you.
Oh, see, you got to clarify that. There's a big difference.
Chocolate cake is good for your mental health.
I'll have to be more careful with my wording.
Yeah. Okay, I'll tell you one of my favorite good foods is arugula.
Very good.
What do you got, Glenn?
Favorite good foods.
Glenn's got crickets.
Yes, that's right. I got crickets. Well, see, I don't eat any gluten and I don't eat any sugar. Mm-hmm. So that eliminated most of the foods I really liked. So good for me foods would be anything that's not green. I like carrots.
Okay, carrots, good for you food.
We might want to stop there, Rachel, because
maybe we'll turn the question back to Helena.
You know what my favorite food is? I don't think it's good for you, but my favorite food in the whole world is potatoes of any kind.
Potatoes are good for you.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
And I like them. I know what you're going to say next. I like them with the skin on, actually. So
the skin is really good for you,
that's right?
Very good for you. Yes, that's where all the fiber is and a lot of the nutrients. So
I didn't get an F. I got a D.
No, you never get a D, Glenn.
All right, go ahead.
There's no ranking system here. All right, so some good foods. A lot of times we think about carrots or leafy greens like arugula, veggies, that kind of category. And then, so my next question is, what are some bad for you foods that maybe you feel like you shouldn't eat?
The whole list I gave you at the beginning.
Yeah. Sugar.
Sugar.
Gluten for certain people.
Fake food. Anything that comes in a box with an ingredients label that I can't read without my glasses.
Okay, that's a great one. Any foods that when you eat them you feel like, ooh, that was bad. I probably shouldn't have had that.
You know, cheese.
Cheese. Okay.
Like cheese is delicious and you think, all right, well, it's not really bad for you. You can get really good cheese, that's made naturally, but I always feel guilty when I overindulge in cheese because it's so high in calorie and fat and stuff like that.
Yes. Good. So you kind of alluded right into what my next question was going to be is how do you feel when you eat those quote unquote bad foods? So you said you feel guilty.
Wicked
guilty.
Yeah. But you know what's funny? I don't feel guilty when I eat cake.
Because cake's so good.
It is because it feels like a treat. So you have a slice of cake, or if you go out to dinner and I have dessert, I usually split the dessert so I don't eat one all by myself. But things like cheese and I'm probably totally derailing your segment, Rachel. Sorry, but things like cheese and butter and bread. If I eat too much of those, you know what it is? No, I don't know. I'm all over the place. If I eat too much of those, then I have a high guilt factor because they don't feel like treats. They really aren't helping my mental health.
Gotcha.
Were you Catholic growing up, by the way? Is your
Me?
family Catholic?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we always get the extra guilt. Those of us that grew up Catholic. We know a lot about guilt.
Definitely.
I know. I spent a lot of time kicking the inside of those confessionals. Forgive me, Father, for I have sinned. Again.
Yeah. Again. And it's the same as last week's. Can I just play the recording for you?
I said 999 Hail Marys. And you know what I was always in confession for? Swearing.
You'd still be in confession for that.
I know. It's called Stable Scoop now.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry, Rachel.
We're totally off the hook today.
I know.
Rachel, what were you talking about?
All right. So
Rachel, I give you a piece of advice. Don't ask us any more questions. Just talk.
She's not coming back on that. She's going to be like, her hands are up in the air right now.
Don't ask us anything else. Just talk. We're going to be quiet. Go ahead.
I promise.
All right. So those bad foods typically elicit feelings like you have mentioned, Helena, of guilt. Some people get angry at themselves, like, why did I do that? Or they feel sad or they get depressed. Or if you've really been restricting a food and you eat it, then sometimes you're like, well, screw it. I just broke my diet. So now the floodgates are open and maybe that opens the way for a binge or whatever. So the whole point of me asking these questions is that when you categorize foods as good and bad, and you eat the bad foods, because at some point you're going to eat the bad foods. You can't live without cake or chips or whatever your bad foods are. So when you eat those, then you create this negative thought process in your head. And so a lot of us don't really notice when this negative thought process starts to happen. But if you start to pay attention, it really can, you really beat yourself up sometimes. And so, sometimes we just think, oh, well, I'm thinking negative things in my head. I'm beating myself up. Well, that sucks, but whatever. But what you don't think about is that what happens in your mind, what you're thinking, translates to the rest of the body. So the brain is not in this little silo up in your head, operation control up there. It's actually feeding messages all through the body. So your thoughts are going to change the messages that get sent to the body.
Like in that movie Inside Out.
I don't know that movie.
Me either.
The animated movie Inside Out where the little people were in your brain and they control everything. It was really cute.
Was it about, you know what? I know. I'm not going to do that again. Okay, go ahead, Rachel.
Okay.
Jeez. We're bad. The two of us with this attention deficit thing we like to say we have. It can get a little crazy. Yeah. All right, go ahead.
Right. So when those negative thought processes get started, it releases a little hormone called cortisol. So have you guys heard of cortisol?
Yes. It makes you fat around your belly.
Yes, exactly. So it's the stress hormone. So when you start thinking those negative thoughts, the cortisol gets released and it's going to cause your body to hold on to more fat. So it's not going to want to burn any fat. So if you eat a piece of chocolate cake and then feel guilty about it, odds are you're going to weigh more than someone who eats a piece of chocolate cake and goes, that was delicious, and moves on.
There you go, Glenn. She just served that right up to you. Okay, so we eat foods that make us feel guilty, or we feel guilty about eating those foods.
Mm-hmm.
And that releases stress hormones, which communicate to the rest of our body that something's wrong, and therefore we need to hold on to whatever fat is going through us, whatever these extra calories.
Yep, exactly. So if you let go of the idea of good and bad foods and just make all foods on level playing field, and obviously you try to eat more greens than cake, pretty straightforward. I think we all know that. But if you let go of the idea of good and bad and don't beat yourself up about what you just ate, just move on and let it go, then you will actually weigh less than if you eat the same exact foods and you beat yourself up for it.
Okay, so I'm going to play devil's advocate for a minute.
Yes.
This has been scientifically proven?
Yes, the cortisol definitely is the fat store is going to cause fat storage in the body, especially around the midsection.
So guilt, stress, cortisol, fat, those have all been linked.
Yes.
Okay, I believe you now.
That was easy.
Okay, so we don't have to feel guilty. So if all foods are a level playing field, we eat what we can. We eat what we want to, for the most part. So now, last time you were on, last month, we talked about satisfying the body with foods that provide the nutrition it needs.
Yep.
So sometimes I have a craving for cheese or chocolate cake or half a bag of pretzels or whatever. And that's when I start to feel guilty about what I'm eating. Sometimes it's not necessarily the food item. It's the amount or the emotional or the stress behind the food.
Yeah.
So, but I remember that you had said last time that if we put enough good stuff in our bodies, we are then satisfying the natural biological appetite. And you said that we will find ourselves craving less those not good for us foods.
Yeah, the more you consume nutrient dense foods like we talked about last month, which is going to be veggies, fruit, whole grains, the more your body is going to be nourished and get all the nutrients it needs, like vitamins and minerals and calcium and iron, etc. So it's going to inherently decrease your appetite once you have properly nourished the body. And then the other piece I'll add on to that is whenever you categorize a food as a bad food, it makes you crave it. So it's like it's like when you can't have something, you want to have it. So it's like the forbidden fruit. We'll call it that.
Oh God, that's me, huh, Glenn?
So I'll give you my personal example. My forbidden fruit was Doritos because I friggin' love Doritos. And you would probably be surprised to see a dietitian driving around with a bag of Doritos in her car, but that is the truth. So I was like, why am I so obsessed with these Doritos? And I was like, you know what? I got to use my own techniques on myself. So I was like, whenever you want Doritos, just eat them. Just if you're at the gas station, you're like, oh man, I really want Doritos. Just go and get a bag and eat it. And then don't feel guilty about it. Just be done with it. And I just went and did that. And then for the last 2 months or so, no craving for Doritos. Don't even think about them. Like, don't even want them now because I stopped making them a bad forbidden food.
Says the skinny girl.
Well, that just means her methods are working.
Yeah.
Yeah. So making the bad foods bad, it causes more cravings and more guilt and then more cortisol, and so it's just a bad recipe. So if you can break that chain somewhere, then you make your brain a lot happier, and just everything is more relaxed.
Glenn, how do you feel about? You have a lot of forbidden foods. I mean, but it's pretty much because of your health reasons and because
it's not voluntary.
It's not voluntary. Right. But how do you feel about, because those foods are on the do not fly list? Do you find that you crave them?
Oh yeah, I've been on this diet for years, and I still, Jennifer made cupcakes with chocolate icing, which that's just my favorite thing ever. And of course, I've been looking at them for days. So
That's torturous. That's not a nice wife.
So, well,
Sure.
we had company, so she made them for the company, and
okay.
then I'd come into my office and I have to walk by them every time. So no, I don't know that. I guess with some people it goes away, but my family was so food driven that now the motivation for me is because of my Lyme disease, if I eat too much of the wrong thing, I feel like crap. So. That's my motivation. And
Physically.
I think, physically and mentally, actually. So, there's a motivation there more than just weight. And weight, weight's a motivator for people, but, it's never been for me that huge motivator. It's like a few pounds overweight, who cares? And I think that weight is a tough one to be motivated by. When you actually get sick from eating certain things, then that's a much bigger motivator.
Yeah, that's absolutely true.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you can't eat certain foods for health reasons, then this is a little bit of a different story. But I think there's a way to, if you can't eat certain foods, there's always a substitute of some form. No, it's not always the same. Gluten-free pizza will never be as good as wheat pizza.
You know what's up with the gluten-free stuff? It is getting better because so many people are doing the gluten-free for, because they're doing it where, and so it has, when I started this, 10 years ago, there was nothing. I mean, gluten-free was not a thing. So the people with celiac disease were the only ones that were gluten-free. And it was, so it was me and 10 of my friends. So that was it. And then now it's become much easier with the whole gluten-free thing. I love bread and everything, but there is good gluten-free bread now that you can bake yourself and stuff. It's the sugar that's still... It's still the sweets that. Now, what I do to solve that is I will actually have a bite or two of cake. Like she had cheesecake last night at dinner. I just had a bite or two. So that solves it there. It satisfies. Okay, I had my sweets and I'm good. I just don't eat the whole thing.
Yeah, that's a great way to go.
So that's kind of what I think you're saying, Rachel, is eat in moderation and think in moderation. So all right, maybe this bag of Doritos isn't so good for me, but I'm going to have it anyway. And
so
then
when you go to the gas station, you're not getting the big bag of Doritos. You're getting a little single serving size. Okay,
yes, I'm going to get the single serving size.
Let's clarify that.
Wouldn't be enough for me. I'd be like, I need two.
Lena's getting two of the big, family size bags.
And it's not the kind of thing that changes overnight. So the first step is just to start paying attention to what your brain is doing to you when you eat foods. Are you beating yourself up? Are you feeling guilty? Are you, opening the floodgates and going on a binge because you've been restricting? So that's the first step, is starting to pay attention to what your brain is doing in relation to food. And then it's baby steps, and it's incredibly helpful to work with a coach or a nutritionist who can help you work through that stuff too, because it's a tough thing to figure out on your own.
All right,
it is. I find myself, thank God that I know Rachel personally outside the radio show, because I can always ask questions, and I take her Pilates classes, and she's constantly fielding food questions from us. So I think it does help to have somebody who can answer your questions, because a lot of times that's all you need is just a quick, you know what? I want to, I'm making this meal for dinner. Is this cool? Is this all right? And then just having someone pat you on the back saying, yeah, stop worrying about it. Just chill. And you're like, okay, I can chill.
Yeah.
And then you take that back into your everyday life, and it really does become less and less of a problem. You really don't. And I think, Rachel, honestly, I think the reason I don't worry so much about having a dessert or splurging a little bit on sugary, fatty treats is because you've said, stop worrying about it. And, I remember a time where I could go out to dinner and I'd be like, I want my own dessert. Splitting a dessert sucks. Ugh, who wants to do that? And now I find it's plenty to have half of a slice of carrot cake or something.
Yeah.
So, and that's probably over maybe the course of 6 to 8 months. So it does take time, but I would say probably, only a few months, because maybe 4 months ago was when I realized, I'm okay with this sharing a dessert thing.
As long as the person you're with is okay with it.
Yeah.
Rachel, we run out of time. Where can people find you and more information about what you do?
You can find me at rachelpellison.com and also on Facebook under Healing the Hungry Soul.
Healing the Hungry Soul on Facebook, and we'll post a link to that in our show notes for today's show at stablescoop.com and also on our Facebook page. Thank you, Rachel. I'm going to go have cake
guys.
now.
Yay.
Bye,
Enjoy
Rachel.
it. No guilt.
Well, right after our health and wellness segment, Helena is having spasms over there. I don't know what's going on, so I'll tell you a little bit.
I'm good now.
Okay.
I'm good now.
I'll tell you a little bit about. We're having some day here. I'll tell you a little bit about the Clarion Hotel in Lexington, Kentucky. It's where we stay for Road to the Horse and Rolex. It's where we stay every time we go into Lexington, Kentucky. Your rate includes a full breakfast buffet every morning, free Wi-Fi, free airport shuttle to and from the airport for those of you that are flying in. Plus, they have a great restaurant called Cortland's Southern Kitchen. And if you are into bourbon, check out the Bourbon Sampler at the Sports Page Bourbon Bar and Grill. They have every bourbon from Kentucky there. And they also have a pizza place. They have a great big pool and play park for indoor, swimming pool and play park for the kids. So that's a lot of fun. And this is literally 10 minutes away. You make a right out of the parking lot. You make a left about 5 miles down and you're at the Kentucky Horse Park. And you're coming in the back way, so you don't have to worry about the traffic off the highway. Check if you're going for any of the major events like Road to the Horse or Rolex, especially Rolex, I know they're selling out. So do it now, ClarionHotelLex.com. One other thing, we are going to be doing the Horse Radio Network meetup at Jump Number 1 on Cross Country Day at Rolex. So if you're going to Rolex, stay tuned. We'll give you more details, but we always meet a half an hour before the start of Cross Country at Jump Number 1, and then we sort of spend part of the day walking through the various jumps and then break off. And we usually meet at the alcohol, then at Eventing Nation's tent. Later in the day is where we meet back up. We let
You
them
meet the alcohol?
Yeah, we meet the alcohol at Eventing Nation's tent because they give it away for free. So we always stop
you gotta
by
love
there.
the eventers, man.
Yeah. That's where we go. And Eventing Nation's kind enough to give us lots of alcohol. So that's where we'll be later in the day. We descend upon their tent. So that's all coming up in the next couple of months. It's going to be a lot of fun here on the Horse Radio Network. Will we have a listener interview?
It is the year of the listener. And now, our Stable Scoop listener of the week.
Well, we continue the year of the listener with another one of our tremendous listeners and auditors, Lindsay Roush from Indiana, where it's cold and snowy. Hi, Lindsay.
Hello. Yeah, it's definitely freezing today.
Yeah, I saw pictures of you this morning on your Facebook page all bundled up, and we could only see your eyeballs. So,
Yeah, pretty much.
you're having lovely weather out there in the middle of the country. Well, we appreciate, one, thank you for being a listener, and two, thank you for being an auditor. We really appreciate that.
I say I love it. It's fun, especially the Facebook group.
Well, let's find out a little about you. So when did you get into the horse thing?
As far as I can remember, I started the addiction around 2 years old. Because I remember sitting in the car going down the interstate and using the strap of my mom's purse as reins, and I was driving the horse/car down the road.
That is so cute. That is so cute.
You
I
couldn't
totally
remember
see it.
before 2? What's wrong with you, Lindsay?
I just remembered I was 2 when that happened, and it's very vivid in my mind some 20-some years later.
So when did you get your first horse?
I just got my first horse about a year and a half ago, actually.
Oh, wow. So you waited a while. There was a gap in there.
Yes. My mom had been a trainer and rodeo coach before she had me, but growing up, we never had the ability to have horses, so she'd snag me a ride here and there to give me a lesson. But finally, my husband and I got our own place out in the middle of windmill country, and I got my first horse.
Oh, that must have been so exciting after all those years.
Oh, it was. And I was giddy. When my husband finally gave the green light we could get horses, I was ecstatic.
Oh, I bet you were. Well, had you been planning for a little while? Like, okay, now's the time? Or did you kind of, like, for me, it's like, okay, I want to get everything set up. Like, I have a good job, I'm living in one place and my family life, everything's all set. Did you kind of have that plan ahead of you?
Somewhat. I mean, we bought a old farm that the house is 101 years old this year, and the pastures have been allowed to overgrow. There's been foreclosure. The barn was a mess. And so we lived here for several years, just getting the fences right, building a new barn, getting everything to the point we could have livestock even. And we started out with a couple of cows and then started picking up the horses a couple of years ago.
And how does your husband feel about it now?
He has a horse of his own. It's definitely been a learning experience for him because there's been a lot more that goes into horses than he originally thought. But I mean, most of the time he's still happy that we've got the horses, and when we get a nice day and we can both take a breather, we'll go, hack out through the farmer's fields and along the ditches for a couple hours.
Well, that's the good opportunity to tell us about your horses. Tell us about yours and his.
Okay, my horse, her registered names aren't that dynamic, but we all call her Ellie. She's a pure black appendix quarter horse. I think she's got a dozen white hairs on her forehead, but other than that, she is pitch black. She does not have the brown nose. She is black.
Cool.
Okay, yeah.
She's going to be, I think, 14 this year, but when I got her, she was a very, very green 12-year-old. We originally went looking at her for my husband because a good old Craigslist, it made it seem that she'd been broke, she'd been worked with, and just had the last year off. Turned out, no, she was broke as a 3-year-old, sat in the pasture for 8 years, had been back under saddle off and on for a year at the point I bought her.
So a really bad ad.
We were the poster children for green on green makes black and blue. Just going to say it.
How did that go? Was there some black and blue?
There was some black and blue. I still got a couple scars from coming off of her, but, she's taught me so much, and she is a very classic, opinionated mare. And I mean, she makes me work for every inch I get with her, but when she decides she wants to be with me and work with me, it is absolutely amazing.
Oh. So what kind of work do you do?
That just doesn't happen very often. Sorry.
I know. What is a typical day? I mean, it's winter time now, and I don't know if you have what your work area is like, but mine pretty much shut down the minute the first snow falls. But when you have a chance, what does a typical training session with her look like?
If it's not nice enough to ride, sometimes we'll just do some hand walking, or I've got a 40-foot round pen that I picked up about a year ago, and we'll do join up in there, and we'll do what I call playing tag. Once she's joined up with me and done follow up, I'll walk and weave different patterns around the round pen, and then I'll start cutting and running in different ways, and she'll start throwing her head and running after me and kind of be like, wait, you're not allowed to do that.
Yeah.
That's always our fun little game. And, if we're out riding, we're just hacking down the roads, going and finding what new things I can point her at, and her be like, what the heck is that? Is it going to eat me?
How does she feel about garbage cans? Do you live in a neighborhood where people put their trash out?
We don't, but the one time I've ridden towards the town that does, it didn't bother her. The funny thing that bothers her is most of the year she's pastured with 2 to 3 cows. She sees cows, she bites cows, she knows what a cow is. But if we try to ride past the neighbors' pastures where they've got their big herds of cows, she thinks that they are the biggest horse-eating monsters on 4 legs.
That's so funny.
She hits the brakes, she starts dancing and jigging and all kinds of stuff. And it's like, seriously, all the things for you to get freaked out about.
And here you are like, oh, my horse is fine with cows. She lives with cows. She's cool with cows. And so you're like, that's the hard part, is when you think your horse is totally used to something and then they decide that there's just enough of a difference in this cow from the cow I live with every day, and it's life or death. It's not like you're going from a cow to, say, a mini, which really does eat horses, but it's one cow to another kind of cow. And so she catches you off guard. How do you calm her down and reassure her when that happens?
Usually it's just a matter of trying to get her to hold her feet still, because she's very high energy. She's very 100% thoroughbred. And so when she gets anxious, she doesn't want to hold still. And she'll try and turn tail and run. So it's just getting her turned around and make her stop and just sit there and, I'll sit on her with her standing still, staring whatever's freaking her out, as long as it takes her to decide, okay, maybe it won't eat me this time. But next week, it's a completely new deal. It could eat her again.
Oh, bless your heart.
And let me guess, your husband's horse is the exact opposite.
No.
Oh.
Her name's Stacey, and she is the best husband horse I could have ever hoped for. I mean, she is absolutely amazing, but she does the same thing when she sees a cow. She doesn't try and turn and run. She just hits the brakes and starts snorting and pricking her ears up, and is like, I'm not so sure what that is. It might eat me. Like, both of them freak out about cows, and I have no idea why.
So that's good. I mean, it's good that your husband's horse is one that when she freaks out stops, because that's the kind I like. Is if something happens and they stop, you can deal with that rather than the pony I have now, where something happens, we're just going to bolt.
Yeah,
it's much better stopping.
We're going to Maryland, Dad. See you later.
Yeah, I'm out of here. So that's much
that
better.
would be my horse.
Now, do you ever have aspirations to compete in any way?
I'd love to get into doing competitive trail, but unfortunately, I'm in northern Indiana, and NATROC does everything close by, and the one trail event that was a couple miles away from me, they ran their very last event like a month after I bought my horse, so I've never gotten to do that event either. So watching for, hopefully, to get into a competitive trail, or if I have to, I might settle for arena trail. But other than that, we just hack out and we have fun.
Good. Well, that's what you're supposed to do with your horse.
Absolutely.
That's what it's all about. Tell me the most adventurous place you've ever ridden a horse.
Okay, the place itself was not adventurous. We were up in the Sawtooth Mountains in central Idaho. And
that sounds adventurous.
Gorgeous. Oh, it was absolutely gorgeous. Nice trail, middle of the summer. But it was the first real horse ride I'd ever been on, something other than the ponies that go in circles at the fair. And we descended down a hillside from the trail to go across the river to keep going on the other side. And my horse got down there. It was a great little horse, but he decided that was the halfway point for the day, and he didn't want to go across the river. So he turned tail and ran back up the hillside, with me in the saddle. One of our guides, who was this really funny Texan, came running up behind me to try and catch me. And my mom had gone downriver and shot up the hillside to cut us off, so that, if the horse did decide to run back to the barn, she'd be between him and the barn. But I was laughing and giggling. I thought this was the coolest thing in the world, running up the hillside crazy on a horse. My parents, on the other hand, were about ready to lose it.
And you stayed on?
Yeah, I stayed on. I did not come off a horse for the first time until a year and a half ago when I bought my horse.
Yeah, well, we know nothing about coming off horses, do we, Helena?
Me, never came off a horse in my life. Never broke a bone twice.
Never broke the same bone twice. No,
yeah,
never.
Nope.
Now, go ahead. Sorry.
I was the biggest trouble I got in for coming off a horse was about 7 weeks after surgery this last summer. I decided I was going to hop on my horse bareback, and I just basically when I hopped up, I hopped too far and just kind of let myself slide off the other side.
I've done that.
Luckily, I had my helmet on, but I put an inch-long crack in the back of my Troxel helmet, and when my husband found out, he was livid. Yeah, he was about ready to take away access to the horse and everything else for me pulling that stunt.
You know, it's funny. That's how it happens. Like, you know, it's always the silliest little thing. You're not like, oh, I was riding across the United States and I fell off my horse, or I was doing, you know, the Tevis Cup. There's literally like, oh yeah, I was just, you know, screwing around and I went to go jump on my horse and went off the other side.
And
but
how many times do we see those videos,
right?
right? We see those videos all the time where the person's getting on and falls off the other side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's how I came off Pie and tore my ACL. I was trying out a new saddle in shorts and wellies. Duh. But
doesn't everybody?
It's funny that or it's interesting and wonderful that you had your helmet on. So, you know, even though we take certain liberties when we're really comfortable with our horses and we're at home, we take, I think, liberties that we might not otherwise take. But, you know, God bless you for putting your helmet on.
I don't think I would have been getting back up if I hadn't, because I landed flat on my back, and it was late summer, so it was like a hard packed flight where I landed, and my head was swimming a little bit with the helmet on. I probably would have been out cold without it.
Oh, sweetie, I'm glad you're okay.
Well, Lindsay, before we get to the rapid fire questions that Helena's going to ask you here that we do at the end of every one of these listener interviews, we have a couple of other things. What shows do you listen to on the Horse Radio Network?
Pretty much everything except for the eventing show. You know, I usually listen to Horses in the Morning, Stable Scoop. I listen to the driving show because I had one driving lesson as a kid, and I wanted to do it again ever since. We'll see if I get around to it or not.
Okay.
And then I love listening to the dressage show, even though I'm Western already, just because of all the great training tips in it. And horsemanship and healthy critters are nice to add into my podcast mixed list as well.
You listened to almost all of them, so thank you for that. We appreciate that. And you mentioned earlier in the interview, we talked about you being an auditor, and you said the thing you like most about being an auditor was the auditor's private Facebook page.
Yep. It is so much fun, and all the random conversations that go on in there. It's crazy.
Yeah, I would. If you want to take a look at being an auditor, just head over to our Stable Scoop, stablescoop.com. There's a big banner in the middle of the page. Just click on it for as little as $1 a month. You can join the fun in there. We're almost up to 100 auditors. We have 3 more to go, and we're going to do one of Glenn's boxes of crap for the 100th auditor. So you don't know, you might be the one. Hop on over there and check that out today. Okay, Helena, are you ready for the rapid fire questions?
I am ready. The question is whether or not Lindsay's ready. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, here we go. What's your favorite food?
Fully loaded baked potato.
Oh,
I'm just talking about how I love potatoes.
I know. Well, Rachel said you could eat potatoes.
Yeah, but how about the cheese and the sour cream? And
well, actually, here it is. You're not going to eat a fully loaded baked potato every single day. So go ahead and have a fully loaded baked potato. Enjoy it.
I like that kind of diet. It's a good diet, isn't it, Lindsay?
You can always mix it up. I mean, sometimes I'll use plain yogurt or cottage cheese in place of sour cream, and changes of the flavor and makes it like a whole new potato.
What's wrong with you?
Yeah, plain yogurt's pretty cool.
Cottage cheese. Okay, go ahead.
All right. What food do you despise, Lindsay?
Currently, it's going to be Brussels sprouts. I keep trying to like them, and I just cannot get over it.
Yeah,
that's our second Brussels sprouts hater right
there.
Yeah,
I think Brussels sprouts are, some foods you can stomach, but then there's just foods that you can't eat, and that seems to be the way with Brussels sprouts.
Well, Buck has made them for me. He browns them in a pan, in a frying pan, with just a little bit of olive oil or sometimes butter, so that they taste nutty and toasty. Because I couldn't eat them before either, and then I had them like this one day, and now I'm a Brussels sprouts fan, and I'm the last person I'd ever expect to like Brussels sprouts. But that's just me. Okay, so you know what, Lindsay?
Is that after a lot of alcohol, or just go ahead?
That's with a lot of alcohol.
Yeah,
I
that's
do.
right.
You know, we have well, it's usually with fish and Brussels sprouts. All right. But that's okay, Lindsay, because we love you even if you don't like Brussels sprouts.
I
That's
love you
totally
more.
cool.
I love you more because you don't like Brussels sprouts.
All right. What's your biggest equestrian pet peeve?
This is actually from the perspective of being the one not on the horse. My husband and I do a lot of hiking and backpacking, and what drives me utterly up the wall is when you're on a common use trail that's for backpackers and for horses, and you get horse people who have not sacked their horses out to being around backpackers, because apparently most horses think that a backpacker is a human with a monster on its back, and so they really flip out about it. And a lot of horse people are like, hey, can you talk to my horse, so they realize you're human.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of people who will just start barking at you. Oh, you need to get over there, and you need to talk like this, and just start going off about everything you need to do to accommodate the fact that they haven't properly sacked their horse out to be on a common use trail. It just drives me up the wall.
I can't believe horses are freaking out about people. I mean, it's not a bear I get, but yeah.
That's a really that's a really good peeve because you know, we do all experience that from time to time, and you know, everybody has a responsibility on the trail. The backpackers, the bikers, and the horse people. And it's one thing to say, okay, could you please, you know, like I will say, I'll just be like, hi, really loud, you know, so people have to say hello back. And my horse is like, all right, it's just a person. But, you know, for someone to scold you out there or to, you know, make it seem like it's your responsibility to not spook their horse, huge peeve. I get it, Lindsay. Wow. Okay, I'm going to be chewing on that one for a while. That's going to be our topic for next week's show. I'm going to bite down and run with that. Okay. Who is your favorite celebrity? Who is your favorite equestrian celebrity or professional?
Buck Brannaman.
Oh, me too. Love him. All right, and folks, if you're listening and you don't know who Buck Brannaman is, I very strongly suggest
they're not listening to this show then.
Yeah, you need to go look up Buck Brannaman, just Google him, and you must read Far Away Horses, which is my favorite book of his. Okay.
Well, if you want to get even easier, you just go get the Buck movie, which is like $5 or $10 at Walmart, and watch that, and then you get addicted and buy the whole 7 Clinics DVD series.
Yes, I have that, but there was something special about the book that maybe it was the time in my life when I read it, but there was, I don't know, I felt after reading that book, I came away with a very different view of life, not just through horses. So you can do DVDs or you can do the book, but rock on. Lindsay's got she's got a great celebrity, equestrian professional, Buck Brannaman. All right. If you could choose a different career that doesn't involve horses, what would it be?
I'd love to start my own business of some form. I just can't really decide at the moment what I want to do. It's like different things that I enjoy. I'm like, okay, which one do I actually want to make a business out of? That's kind of where I'm at.
What could you see yourself doing for 14 hours a day?
That's the thing. I mean, I've got lots of different things that I enjoy doing, and I've done for different employers, but turning it into business, like I love project planning, and I love doing logistics work. I've got an engineering background. I'm really all over the map.
I am shocked at how many engineers listen to our shows.
We got the smarties, Glenn.
I am shocked. We have doctors, lawyers, engineers. You people should not be. We are helping you devolve, not grow as people. I don't get why you're listeing to our shows, but we appreciate you do.
In the live. But, they need more growth. They need some downtime, which is why they tune in.
Yeah, see, we've got 40 to 50 hours a week and having to be highly technical and efficient and do everything properly, and it's really nice to just spend an hour and a half and be like, I don't have to care about the details for a little while. I can just enjoy myself.
So we're your dumb time. Is that what you're saying? Or did I mean downtime?
You're my entertainment time.
Okay, all right.
All right. So, talking about entertainment. If you had $1 million to entertain yourself and you could go on a trip, where would you go?
I'd go to Australia, New Zealand.
Yeah,
I've wanted to go down there for so long. I think it'd be so much fun to spend a few weeks down there in those two countries.
Turn yourself into a little hobbit and just explore that countryside.
Pretty much.
Okay. I think I might go with you. Yeah, you can, if you decide you're going to go
That
there,
sounds good.
just shoot me an email, you know.
Okay, mate.
I'll get there. Okay, mate. How do you feel about morning people, Lindsay?
I actually tend to be a morning person, even though I don't like to be. I do a lot better if I get up and I'm going in the morning, but it really takes me a lot to convince myself to do it. So I guess I'm okay with morning people. Just don't be overtly chipper first thing in the morning. I need it.
She'd hate my house. That Jennifer all the time is saying, I don't mind. I really don't mind you, being like wide awake at 4:00 in the morning and ready to go, but just don't include me in it. Go in another part of the house and be wide awake and bouncing off the walls at 4 a.m. So
Yeah, that's what we
Yeah,
call.
I think on Jennifer's side.
Yeah. And then he gets online and he messages me. What are you doing? Are you working? Check this out.
Well, there's nobody else up at 4:00 in the morning.
I know. I'm the morning person, but I'm quiet. I tiptoe downstairs in the dark, and the only thing I do is make a pot of coffee. And then I mind my own beeswax. I feed the horses, and then I mind my own beeswax until 7 o'clock at least. And then I go jump on everybody's bed because I'm lonely and bored.
Yeah, that's me. Wake up. I'm awake.
Okay. Back to our list. What's the craziest thing you've ever done, and would you do it again?
I went on the world's longest zip line. It's a place called Icy Strait Point in Alaska. It's over a mile long, and you drop several hundred feet. It takes 4 to 5 minutes from top to bottom.
Wow.
And the first 6 feet are okay. I was freaking out a little bit when they pulled the gate because there's 6 lines that all go down at the same time. And am I sure I should have done this? Oh, this isn't so bad. And then 6 to 10 feet out of the gate, there's a 300-foot cliff, and you're like, I am just out here in the middle of nowhere. There is nothing. But it's an amazing view. You get to look out over their harbor, and you've got all the woods right below you. So a lot of people have spotted bears and different things from up on the zip line. And if I ever go on that cruise again, I will definitely do the zip line again. It's so worth it.
I'm watching the video right now on their website, which is icystraightpoint.com. And oh my God, usually zip lines, you're right above the trees. You guys are way up there.
It is so much fun.
And
I don't like
is the speed controlled? Because they don't seem to be going super fast. And they probably should be looking at this, but.
The way you control your speed basically is stick your arm out, make yourself a little bit bigger so you get some more wind drag, and you can slow yourself down a little bit, but you're
Slow
still
yourself
going
with wind drag.
pretty fast.
It works to slow down. That's how I do a half halt.
Well, this one does look like fun, though. This one does. You sort of sit in the seat in this one.
Yeah. And if you see in the video, if they show where you end, they've got these giant springs, and it basically catches your line, and you go flinging 90 degrees, so you're parallel to the ground, and then you kind of swing back and bounce around until you come to a stop.
That's craziness. All right.
Okay, next one up. If you could have just one superhero power, what would it be?
This is where I'm going to let my nerdiness kind of fly. So I know at least Glenn's familiar with Star Trek, and Deanna Troi, how she's an empath and she can feel basically the emotions and things of everyone around her. I would love to be able to do that, and I know it sounds nerdy.
Well, I can tell you as an empath, it's challenging because you don't get to filter out the bad stuff. Unfortunately, you do filter. You get it all.
I've got a bit of it, and I've got enough of it so sometimes I get my signals crossed. So I'm I just would like to go all the way. And then I know I got it right.
That's a very good point. That's a very good point. And once you learn that you have it, once you learn that there's a pipeline there, you learn how to keep it clean so that things can come in and you get good at it. So something comes in, and if it's a good feeling, then that's great. But if it's not so good, you figure out how to kick that right back out again. You'll get the feeling. You'll receive it. You can process and digest it, and then you can eliminate it right away. So, and you're right. It is much better than getting it partially, but that's an amazing superpower. I wish I knew how to use mine, but I'm still learning how to clean out the damn pipeline.
Yeah, I'm right there with you.
Roto-Rooter.
Yep. Okay, Roto-Rooter. No kidding. You know what? Yeah, Roto-Rooter. See, that's what shows like Stable Scoop do and Horses in the Morning. You get all clogged up with stuff, and then you got to root out your pipeline with entertainment and laughter.
There's a whole new commercial.
Exactly.
And tequila. A quality tequila helps too. Just saying. Sipping tequila.
Yeah,
The
maybe
Horse
alcohol.
Radio Network, the Roto-Rooter of your brain.
She's brilliant, Glenn. She's brilliant. If you could ask your horse one question and she could answer, what would you ask?
My horse has an ulcer problem. Part of it's from her being so antsy and whatnot. And I would love for her to teach me basically how to read when it's her ulcers making her feel bad and when she's just in a bad mood. And then a way to tell her that when I'm giving her, a med, it's like, this will make your tummy feel better. Because even though I know it'll make her feel better when she is having problems, she still fights me every bit of the way. But you see her the next day and she's so much better. And she's like, yes, that shot I gave you, that made you feel better.
Believe me, there are a ton of husbands who can talk to their wives that want the same thing. To be able to know the difference.
Well, just give us a shot to make us feel better, and we'll get on board. God.
Lindsay, this has been a lot of fun. Thank you so much for joining us this week, and we're so glad that you got to be part of our Year of the Listener, and thank you again for being an auditor. We appreciate that as well.
Thank you so much. It was a lot of fun.
Hello, folks. Uncle Jimmy here, and welcome to the world of Uncle Jimmy brand products, where funny names mean serious products. Featuring Uncle Jimmy's Squeezy Buns, the squeezably soft hand treat that your horse will love. The award-winning Uncle Jimmy's Hangin' Balls. Uncle Jimmy's Sugar-Free Ball. The incredible Licky Thing, also in sugar-free. The amazing Uncle Jimmy's Pecker-Wrecker, and the Big Licky. The infamous Uncle Jimmy Hangin' Ball was first designed by me for my own horses to help reduce the bad habits which come from stall boredom. It now can be found around the world. This nutritious, flavored, filled boredom buster will help keep your horses occupied and happy around the clock. Properly hung, it will last for weeks, provided you don't let your horse pin it, and Uncle Jimmy knows who you are. The ball comes in 4 flavors: apple, carrot, peppermint, molasses, and now sugar-free. Once again, welcome to the world of Uncle Jimmy's brand products, where funny names mean serious products, and satisfaction is 100% guaranteed.
This Tack and Habit segment is sponsored by my own company, Sparkle and Boom. What is it? It's a marketing firm. We offer creative and practical marketing services for small business owners. Whether you own a horse farm, you're a veterinarian, a trainer, or a truck driver, whatever your business may be, we can help you promote it. We can help you get recognized, acknowledged with the right audience. A lot of people want to market their business to the whole world. We help you market your business to the right people so they become your clients. Visit us online at sparkleandboom.com.
And coming up today, I have an ADA recording that I did over there last week. This is with Durvet. Everybody's probably heard of the company Durvet. Well, Durvet has a whole bunch of animal health products and a whole bunch of different kinds of things. But one of the things they have is chicken products. They carry a whole bunch of different chicken products. And I know a lot of you have chickens, backyard chickens. So you're going to learn something today. I did not know chickens needed wormed, and this is why. Well, I'm here at Ada in Philadelphia, in snowy, cold Philadelphia, and I am with Jordan, and we are talking about some Dervet products. And today, we're going to the chickens.
Going to the chicken
We're going
side.
to the chickens. Every show I go to now, I have to find a chicken something because so many of our listeners have chickens now. About half our listeners, I think, have chickens. And I have met a couple people today that already have this. And we just were talking with people who had this. It's the chicken swing. Yeah. This has been around for a little while, right?
It's new to the Dervet world, but I think that it has been around a little bit. Now, what it is, it's an ergonomically correct chicken swing.
Now, what makes an ergonomically correct chicken swing?
You don't want your chickens to get carpal tunnel.
Oh, yeah, because that's something I worry about a lot.
That's something that's always in people's minds, you know.
Oh, yeah, I worry every day about
Exactly. So
I really worry about my chickens getting eaten by coyotes. But
exactly. Well, if they're ergonomically correct and have no carpal tunnel, they can run like heck away from them.
Good answer.
So
this is actually a swing that you hang from a tree or whatever.
You can hang it in their coop from a tree.
And it hangs down about, 4 feet?
Yeah, about 4 feet. You want to get it,
How far off the ground do you want it?
Depends
That's
on
the
size
that people said. It has to be right at the right height or they won't use it.
Exactly. You can move it depending on the growth of your chicken. So, I wouldn't get it. It's basically you want it roost height. So a couple feet, 3 feet at the max. But, 1 to 3 foot range, you get that off the ground. They're going to hop up there and swing on it, and you're probably going to see them having a good time in their coop.
And they just like swinging on it because it's fun.
They just like it because it's fun, and it's kind of a roost-like mentality for them. So they get up there, and, they can rock their
heads. Do they lay
heads.
eggs on it?
They can lay eggs on it.
Do they?
I would say they probably would crack by the time they hit the ground, but that's their own deal there.
How much do these run?
Retail, they're going to run anywhere from $22 to $24, $25, just depending on the market. But, for the chicken owner that wants to see his chickens having a good time and give them something to do in their coop, then...
And this is called the Foul Play Products Chicken Swing, and you can find it at foulplayproducts.com. And go there and watch the video. It's hilarious of the chicken swinging on them. foulplayproducts.com. All right, good. And then this is something I didn't know about either. We're still on chickens here. This is something I didn't know about, and I didn't know that poultry needed dewormed until I saw your poultry dewormer. When we had chickens 30 years ago, we didn't do any of this stuff. We ground up some shells to give back to them, and then they like oyster shells too.
Oh yeah,
yeah, and that's it. I mean, I don't think there were these products on the market all those years ago.
There might not have been, but we have just the right product to clean up your chickens. The Strike 3 poultry dewormer. What you do, you give it to them 3 to 4 times a year based on their living conditions.
It's a feed through?
It's a feed through, yes, sir. You mix it with...
Because giving them a shot would be fun.
Yeah, that'd be a challenge.
Or trying to give them the paste in the mouth.
Exactly, that would be a challenge. No, sir, this is a feed through product. Mix one 1 pound bag with 50 pounds of feed, and you give it to them for 16 days in a row, and they're going to be worm free. Now, the good thing about this product and the main benefit is there's no egg withdrawal. There's no egg withdrawal. You can eat the eggs the whole entire time that you're feeding this to them.
I never thought about that.
Yeah, there's on a lot of products there's an egg withdrawal, but there's no egg withdrawal, and your chickens will be cleaned up. Now,
so it doesn't pass through to us, and then we don't have to worry about worms.
No, they shouldn't pass through to us. But hey, you might get a few more eggs out of these chicks. So the collateral benefits are going to pass right onto our bellies. So yeah.
And so you give it to them 3-4 times a year. I assume you don't give them much.
No.
I mean, you have a bag here that's 1 pound.
That's a 1 pound bag, and that'll mix into a 50 pound bag of feed.
Okay, so this is a lot of chickens.
That'll feed a lot of chickens. If you don't think your chickens will eat 50 pounds of feed in 16 days, cut it in half. Kind of see what they eat as far as a feed ration within a 16-day period.
And that's what you want them to have.
That's what you want them to have, yes, sir.
Because it's just going to be mixed in.
It's just going to be mixed in. And a question that I get sometimes is, well, how do you know how much they're getting? It's kind of a free-range pick and feed. Well, they're going to get enough just by picking as a normal feed. They'll get enough is what they need.
Yeah, they usually fight for their own.
Oh, yeah.
And the one that isn't getting enough is going to die anyway. So
exactly.
I've had chickens.
Exactly. So the ones that are going to get
he's a low man on the totem pole. He ain't going to do too well.
Exactly.
So.
There's a pecking order with chickens.
It certainly is. Where do people find out about this?
Well, you can go to dervet.com, and you can find some information on that.
And you have a lot of other chicken products,
We've got a ton of other chicken products that people can we got your flock covered from head to toe as far as anything that we could help a chicken out.
How much of your business, what percentage of your business is chickens? I guess it's probably growing because everybody's getting
To be
chickens.
honest with you, the people with the number of people with chickens, small flocks, whether that be 3 or 4 in their backyard, the folks that live in town, or the ones with 20, 30, 40 chickens, the chicken market is just rapidly expanding. I mean, the chicken aspect of our business has grown dramatically in the last year. So
Who would have thought?
Who would have thought?
Very good. Dervet.com is where you can find it. Thanks a lot, Jordan.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
You don't have any chickens.
Not yet.
I'm surprised, actually. I would picture you having a dozen chickens out there for the wolves to eat.
Well, we have coyotes. What my neighbor has plenty of chickens. He has 120 of them.
So you get eggs from them?
We get eggs from him.
He has more eggs than he knows what to do with.
No, he sells them.
Oh, does he?
He has he puts a cooler out at the end of his driveway and a little, honor system box, and he sells them for $4 a dozen.
Oh, well, you're getting free range chicken eggs.
Super free range. Yeah. Sometimes they free range in our yard. But which you would think, give us a break on the price, buddy. But actually, they're discounted from, if you go to our local grocery store here, a better grocery store, you can get a free-range organic farms for $6.
Wow.
So
eggs are expensive right now. They've gone way up in the store. Yeah. I don't know what's going on. There must be an avian flu or something because eggs went way up. Yeah.
Well, there's all this kind of you have to go cage-free now. So a lot of the states are enacting laws that prohibit those horrific caged.
Which is causing the price to go up, I guess.
Yeah, I don't even want to call it housing. I don't know. So anyway, what are we talking about again?
I think we're just going to wrap up the show now. Thank you, everybody, for putting up with the sound issues today. We appreciate you still being here till the end of the show. Hopefully next week will be better, but it was totally out of our control today. We couldn't do anything about it. And we appreciate our sponsors, and also, poor Rachel. I don't think Rachel is ever going to come back for a health and wellness segment.
No,
again.
I wouldn't blame her.
I don't think she is. It's a good thing we know her really well because otherwise I don't think she's coming back. And Lindsay, of course, we thank her for being part of the show and for listening. And we also appreciate all of you guys out there listening as well. For details about today's show, go to stablescoop.com. It's where we have all of the information and links to all of the guests that we've had for the last 8 years. And I want to also thank Helena. We did a blab. She did her first blab the other night. And if you don't know what a blab is, go to blab.im and you'll see. She had to be on video looking all sexy, and she was. She did a good job. We were geeking out about the world of podcasting with other podcasters. It was kind of fun to geek out about that, wasn't it?
It was really fun.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I loved it.
We've been just doing it so long, but we haven't really talked about what we do, with other podcasters. So it's kind of fun to get to do that and talk about it.
It's true. I mean, if we get 5 or 10 minutes ahead of before our show, sometimes we get to digest a little bit of that together, but definitely not in the type of forum that we did the other night. It was wonderful. Please invite me back on because I really enjoyed it.
And you were really good.
Thanks. I was very nervous.
You brought the intelligent to the group, at least with, when I'm there. So I'm really glad that you make somebody at the Horse Radio Network makes us look intelligent, because I certainly don't contribute a lot to that. So,
well, too bad I can't do that during our shows.
Let's just say goodbye. Let's just go. I think everybody knows where to listen to us. That's it, Helena.
That is plenty, but there will be more, as always, next week. Until then, happy scooping.